Assalamualaikum guys, what's up? Ketemu lagi dengan Bang Imu setelah sekian purnama kita nggak ketemu. Alhamdulillah rasanya senang rasanya kembali Bang Imus bisa menjumpai Anda di channel Bang Imus. Nah, untuk video kali ini Bang Imus ingin mengajak Anda untuk kita akan ke New York City, ke kota yang tidak pernah tidur. Malam ini atau episode kali ini Bang Imus akan membahas atau mengajak Anda, kita akan bincang-bincang atau membahas tentang seseorang yang mengguncang dunia perpolitikan Amerika Serikat. Bukan hanya New York City, tapi Amerika Serikat. Dia adalah seorang imigran, seorang muslim, dan seorang mantan rapper yang sekarang terpilih menjadi wali kota New York City yang nanti akan diambil sumpahnya pada bulan Januari nanti. Siapa lagi kalau bukan Zohran Mamdani. Tanggal 4 November kemarin, tepatnya hari Selasa, jam 11 malam, Zohran Mamdani resmi terpilih menjadi wali kota New York City, mengalahkan dua lawan politiknya. Dia adalah seorang muslim, seorang imigran, seorang anak muda yang bukan saja berani melawan sistem perpolitikan Amerika, termasuk melawan oligarki.
The sun may have set over our city this evening, but as Eugene Debs once said, I can see the dawn of a better day for humanity.
Zohran ini lahir di Kampala, Uganda, ya, negara bagian Afrika. Dan pada usia 7 tahun pindah ke Queens, dan saat ini duduk menjadi orang nomor 1 di kota yang paling terkenal di dunia. Zohran bukan anak konglomerat, tapi dia adalah ibunya seorang produser film, dan bapaknya itu adalah seorang akademisi. Nah, yang menarik dari dua kombinasi ini, Zohran tumbuh menjadi orang yang begitu care, tapi juga orang yang mempunyai pemikiran. Nah, soal siapa Zohran ini akan Bang Imus bahas di video selanjutnya. Untuk video kali ini kita akan melihat bagaimana perjuangan Zohran sehingga dia terpilih menjadi wali kota New York City. Tahun 2020, Zohran maju menjadi salah satu anggota dari Majelis Negara bagian New York. Dengan tanpa dana, tanpa mesin partai yang besar, Zohran maju dengan modal keberanian dan modal ide-ide perubahan yang ada dalam dirinya. Tentu saja dari sini dia menang, ya. Dalam salah satu obrolannya di salah satu podcast di sini, Zohran sempat bilang sebelumnya, pada saat dia setelah SMA, dia sempat ikut bantu menjadi salah satu tim suksesnya dari Barack Obama. Di sana dia banyak belajar soal politik Amerika Serikat juga. Nah, 5 tahun di parlemen ini membuat Zohran ini sadar bahwa perubahan sejati itu tidak bisa dari pinggir saja gitu, ya. Dari pinggir arena, harus masuk ke dalam gitu. Ibarat makan bubur itu dia maunya dari tengah, bukan yang dari pinggir. Tahun 2025, maka ia naik ke panggung utama mencalonkan diri menjadi wali kota New York City.
New York Mayor Eric Adams has been indicted by a federal grand jury.
Every politician says New York is the greatest
city on the globe.
But what good is that if no one can afford to live here? City Hall is engulfed in corruption.
Unscientific report.
The cost of living is the real crisis. New Yorkers are being crushed by rent and childcare. The slowest buses in the nation are robbing us of our time and our sanity. Working people are being pushed out of the city they built. A mayor could change this, and that's why I'm running. I'll make buses fast and free.
So I can just get where I'm going.
I'll make childcare available to all New Yorkers at no cost.
I want to raise my kid in New York.
And I'll freeze the rent for every single rent-stabilized tenant.
These Eric Adams rent hikes are killing us.
Life in this city doesn't need to be this hard, but politicians like Eric Adams and Andrew Cuomo want it to be this way. They care about their donors. They care about themselves. They don't care about you, the working class who keep this city running. This campaign is for every New Yorker who believes in the dignity of their neighbors. And the government's job is to actually make our lives better. We can afford to bring down the rent, have world-class public transit, and make it easier to raise a family. We can do all of that and so much more because this is New York. We can afford to dream.
Tentu saja ini sesuatu yang besar bagi Zohran, mengingat dia ini belum dikenal di kalangan masyarakat New York. Nah, hal yang menarik salah satunya yang dilakukan oleh Zohran ini ketika tahun kemarin 2024 saat Donald Trump menang melawan Kamala Harris di saat pemilihan presiden 2024. Donald Trump menang di New York City. Apa yang dilakukan oleh Zohran, dia mewawancarai para orang-orang yang memilih Donald Trump ya. Jadi diwawancarai sama dia gitu, ditanya-tanya kenapa sih kalian memilih Donald Trump.
Did you get a chance to vote on Tuesday?
I didn't vote.
And why did you not vote?
Because I don't believe in the system anymore.
And did you get a chance to vote on Tuesday?
Yes!
And who did you vote for?
The $1 million question. Trump.
Trump.
Donald Trump. Well, actually, early voted. I voted for Trump.
Honestly, I didn't vote.
She voted for Trump.
I voted for Trump.
I voted for Trump.
Me too.
Before I voted Democrat, at this moment I voted Donald Trump.
Hillside Avenue in Queens and Fordham Road in the Bronx are two areas that saw the biggest shift towards Trump in last week's election. Even more residents didn't vote at all.
They like Trump because they don't want the Palestinian, the brothers they killed. The war in Ukraine, the Democrats giving all the money and the war, this is no good.
The swing is because people want lower prices. They probably believe that Trump would give them that.
Market price all are up.
Energy, gas.
La comida.
Food.
Most of these people are working families. They're working 1 to 2, 3 jobs, and rent is expensive. Foods are going up, utility bills are up.
And that's your hope, to see a little bit more of an affordable life?
Absolutely. What Trump did in the first 4 years, Fordham Road saw something where Kamala couldn't do that.
There were young voters who didn't vote for her because of the genocide, and I wouldn't have voted for her if I did, but I did vote for her, obviously, because I have common sense.
Can you tell me a little bit more about why you didn't vote?
Since you're out here, Gaza, who should I vote? Either side will go ahead, send bombs from here to kill my brothers and sisters.
Palestine issue, and then other issue is like Russia and then Ukraine. He stopped that war. That's why I voted him.
You can't say you're a Democrat and stand for the genocide that's going on in Gaza, period.
Practically, I like Democrat. I like Democrat, but I don't like this. Gaza, a lot of people are dying.
Have you voted for Democrats in the past?
I have.
And what would it take for you to vote for a Democrat in the future?
Being able to pay attention to the regular Americans and their economic needs.
They should make economics the forefront of their campaign.
People were not really feeling it in their pocket.
I voted for Hillary Clinton in 2016. I voted against Trump also in the 2018 midterms. Insulting us, playing on our emotions. All they do is shame you, and they just want to use like glitzy campaigns, and they get celebrities. And
like, if you're speaking the things that people want to hear about, I don't care what color you are, I'll vote for you.
We have a mayor's race coming up next year, and if there was a candidate talking about freezing the rent, making buses free, making universal childcare a reality, are those things that you'd support?
Absolutely, he'd have my vote all day.
We need childcare that is affordable. Buses should be free. The hike in the Metro cards is like totally unaffordable.
So my name is Zohran Mamdani. I'm going to be running for mayor next year.
Wow.
Yes, sir. Wow. And I'm going to be running on that platform.
I'm going to vote for you. Your energy.
Dia tidak mengcounter atau tidak berdebat. Dia tanya kenapa kalian memilih Donald Trump, kenapa kalian apa yang membuat kalian. Nah, dari semua data-data hasil wawancara inilah dikumpulkan oleh Zohran ini, dan dia mengambil kesimpulan bahwa masyarakat itu punya harapan yang besar memilih Donald Trump gitu. Ada permasalahan-permasalahan khusus di New York City yang mereka harapkan yang saat ini belum terrealisasi.
The war in Ukraine, the Democrats giving all the money and the war, this is no good.
The swing is because people want lower prices. They probably believe that Trump will give them that.
Market price all are up.
Energy, gas.
La comida.
Food.
Most of these people are working families. They're working 1 to 2, 3 jobs, and rent is expensive. Foods are going up, utility bills are up.
And that's your hope, to see a little bit more of an affordable life?
Absolutely.
Makanya dari bermodalkan itu, maka Zohran sendiri tampil sebagai orang ingin mewujudkan atau ingin menjadi salah satu solusi bagi persoalan-persoalan masyarakat New York.
This race coming up next year, and if there was a candidate talking about freezing the rent, making buses free, making universal child care a reality, are those things that you'd support?
Absolutely. He'd have my vote all day.
We need child care that is affordable. Buses should be free. The hike in the Metro cards is like totally unaffordable.
Myself, my name is Zohran Mamdani. I'm going to be running for mayor next year.
Wow.
Yes,
wow,
yes, sir.
Wow.
And I'm going to be running on that platform. Thank you.
Dan yang menarik adalah ketika ini jadi kayak ada konferensi untuk Partai Demokrat ya, dan dia ditanya oleh panelis kali dari semua calon-calon wali kota itu, ditanya sama panelisnya, Anda kalau jadi wali kota, apakah akan berkunjung ke Israel sebagai foreign country pertama gitu. Semua calon wali kota itu bilang, iya kami akan gini. Oh, istri saya gini, senang saya akan ke Israel. Pokoknya semua itu kayak carmuk banget gitu kan. Oh, karena memang New York ini adalah kota kedua terbesar setelah Israel. Jadi di Israel itu orang Yahudi paling banyak itu di Israel, nomor 2-nya itu di New York City. Jadi orang Yahudi paling banyak itu kedua di New York City. Jadi memang para kandidat ini ingin mencari simpati daripada masyarakat Yahudi, makanya mereka bilang, oh ya kami akan ke Israel. Tapi lain dengan Zohran, dia bilang, apakah kamu akan ke Israel? Dia bilang tidak, saya akan taking care of people of New York. Orang-orang saya di sini akan saya taking care. Lihat videonya seperti apa.
The first foreign visit by a mayor of New York is always considered significant. Where would you go first? Left to right, Ms. Adams.
First visit, I would visit the Holy Land.
Mr. Cuomo?
Given the hostility and the anti-Semitism that has been shown in New York, I would go to Israel.
Mr. Tilson, where would you go?
Yeah, I'd make my 4th trip to Israel, followed by my 5th trip to Ukraine, two of our greatest allies fighting on the front lines of the global war on terror.
Mr. Mamdani.
I would stay in New York City. My plans are to address New Yorkers across the 5 boroughs and focus on that.
Mr. Mamdani, can I just jump in? Would you visit Israel? As mayor?
I will be doing, as the mayor, I'll be standing up for Jewish New Yorkers, and I'll be meeting them wherever they are across the 5 boroughs, whether that's in their synagogues and temples, or at their homes, or at the subway platform, because ultimately we need to focus on delivering on their concerns.
And just yes or no, do you believe in a Jewish state of Israel?
I believe Israel has the right to exist.
Not as a Jewish state?
As a state with equal rights.
He won't say it has a right to exist as a Jewish state. Be very clear.
And his answer was no, he won't visit Israel.
I said that.
That's what he was trying to say.
No. Unlike you, I answer questions very directly.
All right.
My goal would be to take my first trip to Israel. My wife's life work in this area means a lot to our family, and it could coincide with my.
Kalau orang Yahudi yang saya akan taking care orang Yahudi yang ada di Amerika, di New York gitu. Tapi saya tidak akan ke Israel. Nah, ini tentu saja karena orang Yahudi banyak di New York, maka ini di-steal sama lawan-lawan politiknya. Jadi ini menjadi bumper mereka untuk menentang Zohran Mamdani. Ini baru yang pertama, guys. Masih banyak lagi tantangan dia yang lain. Seperti ketika dia diwawancara salah satu mainstream media di Amerika soal kondemnya terhadap Hamas, atau ketika dia bilang kalau dia jadi wali kota terus Netanyahu akan ke Amerika, akan ke New York, akan ditahan sama dia karena dia mengikuti pengadilan internasional, dan ini menjadi kontroversi bagi masyarakat New York, dan ini juga menjadi senjata bagi lawan politiknya gitu.
So I want to get to all the policy issues in New York, but I wanted to ask you this first. If you are asked tomorrow night if you give credit to President Trump for the ceasefire between Israel and Hamas and the return of the 20 living hostages, would you raise your hand?
You know, first I want to say it's a real pleasure to be here, and thank you for having me. And it's an honor to have this opportunity to speak to so many New Yorkers and Americans across the country. And when it comes to the ceasefire, I am thankful and I have hope that it will actually endure and that it will be lasting. And I continue to have concerns because I've seen reports still, just this in the last few days, that 5 Palestinians were killed by the Israeli military. And that's what gives me pause about issuing any kind of praise or celebration at a moment when it is still so in its infancy. And what I will tell you is that in that same moment, it is also one that requires a focus on ensuring that that hope, that belief in a better future is one that is emblematic in our policies right here in New York City as well. And that's what we're hoping to lead with.
So would you give President Trump credit or not, to any extent? Credit or not?
I think it's too early to do so.
Too early to say.
But if it proves to be something that is lasting, something that is durable, then I think that that's where you give credit.
So you've denounced Israel and the United States for the response to the slaughter on October the 7th. In fact, at times you've called it a lasting stain, the response, and at times you have left October 7th out of your statements completely around this issue. Right now, you just talked about Israelis killing some Palestinians, but Hamas is killing Palestinians within Gaza. And they have not returned the bodies that they promised to return, including 2 Americans, Itai Chen and Omer Nutra, whose families we have interviewed over these months. So what is your response to what Hamas is doing now?
I think those are bodies and remains that should absolutely be returned. And I think that I have no issue with critiquing Hamas or the Israeli government because my critiques all come from a place of universal human rights. And my focus, however, is right here in New York City and transforming the most expensive city in America into one that's affordable for each and every New Yorker.
But, okay, I want to get to that, absolutely. But do you believe that Hamas should lay down their weapons and leave the leadership in Gaza?
I believe that any future here in New York City is one that we have to make sure that's affordable for all. And as it pertains to Israel and Palestine, that we have to ensure that there is peace. And that is the future that we have to fight for.
But you won't say that Hamas should lay down their arms and give up leadership in Gaza.
I don't really have opinions about the future of Hamas and Israel beyond the question of justice and safety and the fact that anything has to abide by international law. And that applies to Hamas, that applies to the Israeli military, applies to anyone you could ask me about.
Okay. One last thought on that. You have said that you would arrest Netanyahu if he came to the United States. You've been very outspoken in your criticism of him. Do you stand by that? You would arrest him if he came here, if you were mayor?
I've said that this is a city that believes in international law, and this is a city that wants to uplift and uphold those beliefs. The Prime Minister...
The United States doesn't stand by the International Criminal Court.
It hasn't signed the treaty for the International Criminal Court. The International Criminal Court, however, has issued a warrant for the arrest of Benjamin Netanyahu.
Well, what grounds in the United States could you arrest him on?
As it has for Vladimir Putin. I've said that I believe that we should uphold arrest warrants by the International Criminal Court, and that we should do so only in abiding with all of the laws in front of us. I'm not going to make a new law to ensure that we can actually do this.
Do you think that Commissioner Tisch would allow you to arrest Netanyahu in New York City?
I've appreciated Commissioner Tisch's leadership of the NYPD, and I think that she's done a good job at lowering crime across this city.
But do you think that she would go along with arresting Netanyahu in New York?
I can tell you that I'm going to exhaust every legal option in front of me, not to make new laws to do so.
Banyak kali kita lihat beberapa cuplikan debatnya dengan para lawan politiknya. Check this out.
Understand government. The governor doesn't build housing in New York City.
Not if it's you.
No, legally, there are jurisdictions. The governor doesn't pick up trash. He doesn't run the fire department. That's what the mayor does. The mayor builds housing. The state allocates funding for localities. And I allocated more funding for housing than any governor in the history of the state of New York. All right? I did things. You have never had a job. You've never accomplished anything. There's no reason to believe you have any merit or qualification for 8.5 million lives. You don't know how to run a government. You don't know how to handle an emergency. And you've literally never proposed a bill on anything that you're now talking about in your campaign. You had the worst attendance record in the assembly. And you gave yourselves the highest raise in the United States of America. You went from $110,000 to $140,000, and then you never showed up for work and you missed 80% of the votes. Shame on you. Shame on you.
Good evening. Thank you to the moderators, and thank you to New Yorkers for tuning in. I know you'd rather be watching the Knicks. While there are 3 candidates on this stage, you will hear only 2 messages. My opponents, who spend more time trying to convince the other to drop out than actually proposing their own policies, will speak only of the past, because that's all that they know. I am the sole candidate running with a vision for the future of this city. Andrew Cuomo will spend much of tonight attacking me. He is a desperate man, lashing out because he knows that the one thing he's always cared about, power, is now slipping away from him. He will amplify right-wing talking points, he will share conspiracy theories, and he will do these things to make you feel that this should keep you up at night. But I've been spending the last year listening to New Yorkers, and I know what actually keeps you up. It's whether or not you can afford to live a safe and dignified life in this city. I have plans for our future. My opponents only have fear. We first just heard from the Republican candidate for mayor, and then we heard from Donald Trump's puppet himself, Andrew Cuomo. You could turn on TV any day of the week, and you will hear Donald Trump share that his pick for mayor is Andrew Cuomo. And he wants Andrew Cuomo to be the mayor, not because it will be good for New Yorkers, but because it will be good for him. Look, Donald Trump ran on 3 promises. He ran on creating the single largest deportation force in American history, he ran on going after his political enemies, and he ran on lowering the cost of living. If he wants to talk to me about the 3rd piece of that agenda, I will always be ready and willing. But if he wants to talk about how to pursue the 1st and 2nd piece of that agenda at the expense of New Yorkers,
President Trump has to respect you. He sent the National Guard into 20 cities. City he didn't send it into? New York. Because I talked to him and I said, we don't need you here. He has said he'll take over New York if Mondami wins, and he will, because he has no respect for him. He thinks he's a kid and he's going to knock him on his tuchus. Yeah, the difference on this question is I've actually lived it, and I've done it with President Trump over many years through the most difficult situation that this country has gone through, COVID plus. You're wrong. You're going to have to confront President Trump. He is hyper-aggressive, and he is going to overstep his bounds. And you are going to have to confront him. And you can beat him. I confronted him, and I have beaten him. He was going to quarantine New York during COVID, and I stopped him. He was going to cut aid to federal programs, and I stopped him. But you also want to be in a place where you can cooperate on good things, because we need federal help if we're going to save our city and rebuild our city.
Mr. Cuomo, in 2021, 13 different women who worked in your administration credibly accused you of sexual harassment. Since then, you have spent more than $20 million in taxpayer funds to defend yourself, all while describing these allegations as entirely political. You have even gone so far as to legally go after these women. One of those women, Charlotte Bennett, is here in the audience this evening. You sought to access her private gynecological records. She cannot speak up for herself because you lodged a defamation case against her. I, however, can speak. What do you say to the 13 women that you sexually harassed?
If you want to be in government, then you have to be serious and mature. There were allegations of sexual harassment. They were then went to 5 district attorneys, fully litigated for 4 years. The cases were dropped, right? You know that as a fact. So everything you just stated, you just said was a misstatement, which we're accustomed to.
Everything that I stated was a misstatement?
Yes, because the cases were dropped. That's what happened. And my question to you, you still didn't answer, why won't you say BDS against Uganda for saying gays should be imprisoned for being gay? Okay. You have no problem with BDS against Israel, but no BDS for Uganda.
Nah, dari situ Anda bisa melihat betapa pintarnya Zohran itu berdiplomatik ya, begitu karismatik, bagaimana dia menampik lawan-lawan politiknya, senjata justru dibikin senjata makan tuan sama dia gitu ya. Dan orang bilang dia itu anti-Semai gitu ya, sehingga untuk meraup suara-suara orang Yahudi di New York City. Tapi ternyata banyak juga orang Yahudi yang memilih Zohran gitu, sehingga dia menang ya. Jadi
my name is Rabbi David Feldman with Tudor Kate International. We are here outside of this celebration here, and we celebrate and we say congratulations to Mr. Mamdani and to New York City for this new mayor, because we are delighted to see people, a person of principle, a person of courage, who stood up and despite all intimidations expressed his opinions regarding crimes being committed in Palestine. We share the sentiment of Mr. Mamdani, and we say that all that happened in Palestine the last 2 years, not only the last 2 years but the last decades, is criminal. This is against Judaism. We are embarrassed when all of these crimes in Palestine is being done in our name, supposedly. State of Israel does not represent us, neither does all these false intimidation accusation of Mr. Mamdani. The people who tried to blame him as anti-Semitic, all of this is false, all of this is wrong.
Pintarnya Zohran ini melawan lawan politik, terutama Andrew Cuomo ini. Andrew Cuomo ini adalah mantan gubernur New York State. New York State itu adalah negara bagian New York. Kalau nggak salah tahun 2011 sampai 2021. Kalau di Amerika Serikat, orang tua itu biasanya ditempatkan di panti jompo ya. Nah, pada saat menjadi gubernur itu, Cuomo ini ada orang-orang tua yang sudah kena COVID, kemudian dimasukkan ke panti jompo, kenalah COVID orang-orang di panti jompo itu, dan ini menjadi kasus besar pada saat itu, sehingga Andrew Cuomo dibilang tidak becus menjadi seorang gubernur. Di samping itu, Andrew Cuomo juga terindikasi diduga melakukan pelecehan terhadap 13 para wanita, termasuk orang-orang yang bekerja di bawah dia gitu. Nah, ini juga menjadi senjata pamungkas oleh Zohran ketika menyerang Andrew Cuomo soal itu tadi ya, soal dalam kampanye tadi ya. Dan Andrew Cuomo ini adalah anak dari Mario Cuomo. Mario Cuomo ini adalah gubernur New York pada tahun 1983 sampai 94 ya. Jadi 11 tahun ya bapaknya Mario Cuomo, Bang Imus belum ada di Amerika waktu itu. Jadi belum tahu sepak terjang Mario Cuomo seperti apa. Jadi memang bapaknya gubernur ini, anaknya dijadikan gubernur juga gitu kan. So teringat di salah satu negara Konoha ada bapaknya wali kota Solo, anaknya dijadikan juga wali kota Solo gitu. Sepertinya ada apa namanya ya, kayak patron yang agak mirip walaupun tidak sama ya. Baik, kita kembali ke Zohran Mamdani. Nah, Anda lihat tadi bagaimana Zohran menanggapi lawan-lawan politiknya dalam berdebat calon wali kota, dan ini menjadi selama perdebatan itu besoknya langsung di Amerika itu langsung viral, terutama di X ya. Banyak sekali komen-komen terutama mereka yang tidak suka sama Zohran Mamdani. Nah, di tengah lagi di samping itu dia juga mendapat tuduhan dan tekanan dari mainstream media yang ada di Amerika Serikat gitu kan. Dia dibilang seorang jihadis lah, kemudian dia dibilang bahwa kalau dia menjadi wali kota maka 11 September Part 2 akan terjadi di New York City lagi gitu kan. Kemudian dibilang dia itu anti-Semai itu orang-orang yang anti-Yahudi gitu kan. Padahal banyak sekali orang-orang Yahudi juga yang mendukung, terutama orang-orang Yahudi yang muda ya. Dan jangan salah, orang-orang di belakang lawan politiknya seperti Andrew Cuomo ini oligarki, para orang-orang bilioner di New York City gitu. Jadi memang lawan politik Zohran ini bukan orang-orang biasa gitu yang di belakang layar. Tapi memang politik itu who knows ya. Justru dengan keberanian, dengan ide-ide yang luar biasa, Zohran Mamdani berhasil mengalahkan lawan-lawan politiknya. Meski diterpa dengan isu-isu yang luar biasa, diserang dari mainstream media, kemudian ditantang oleh para pengusaha dan oligarki se-New York City dan se-Amerika, Zohran Mamdani justru membuktikan sesuatu yang sederhana, bahwa keberanian untuk bicara benar lebih kuat daripada ketakutan untuk kehilangan kekuasaan. Nothing to lose bagi dia kan ya. Kita dengar dulu pidato kemenangan Zohran ketika dia dinyatakan menang. Let's check this out.
You showed that when politics speaks to you without condescension, we can usher in a new era of leadership. We will fight for you because we are you. Or as we say on Steinway, ana minkum wa ilaykum.
Jadi poin pertama dia sudah bilang itu. Nanti kita dengar juga poin bahwa kota ini berasal dari imigran dan akan dipimpin oleh imigran. Check this out.
New York will remain a city of immigrants, a city built by immigrants, powered by immigrants. And as of tonight, led by an immigrant.
Nah, ada poin lagi yang Bang Imus ingin share ketika dia menantang Donald Trump ya. Dia bilang gini, ya kira-kira seperti ini bahasa Indonesianya. Hey Trump, lu kan gua tahu lu lagi nonton ini gitu. Gua tahu lu lagi nonton pidato gue. Gue punya 4 kata buat lu. Apa tuh dia bilang? Gedein suaranya gitu. Digedein volumenya biar lu bisa dengar apa yang gue omongin gitu kan. Ini klipnya kita lihat ya.
So Donald Trump, since I know you're watching, I have 4 words for you. Turn the volume up.
Turn the volume up. Ini menjadi viral di X, terutama dari para Democratic Party ya, orang-orang yang Demokrat langsung di X-nya itu langsung hashtag turn the volume up gitu. Dan ini menjadi viral besok harinya setelah Zohran dinyatakan menang dari kancah perpolitikan untuk memilih wali kota di New York City. Dan yang terakhir, yang punchline dari Zohran pada pidato kemenangannya itu, dia bilang, saya muda, saya muslim, dan saya demokratik sosialis. Check this out.
I am young despite my best efforts to grow older. I am Muslim. Socialists. And most damning of all, I refuse to apologize for any of this.
Di sini Zohran ingin mengatakan bahwa dia itu tidak malu menjadi seorang muslim, walaupun dengan mengatakan dirinya sebagai seorang muslim, dia itu banyak sekali mendapat kecaman, mendapat fitnaan, mendapat benturan kiri kanan, sampai dibilang jihadis, sampai dibilang dia akan membawa New York menjadi 11 September yang kedua gitu kan. Tapi ternyata dia tetap teguh dengan ide-ide yang perubahan di New York sendiri. Nah, ide-ide yang dibawa Zohran sendiri sebenarnya sederhana. Jadi dia ingin menciptakan perumahan yang terjangkau. Harga-harga apartemen di New York sekarang semakin mahal, jadi dia mau itu lebih murah gitu. Kemudian dia juga ingin ada semacam pendidikan juga harus diperbaiki, dan juga ada bus gratis ya. Nah, ini juga menjadi poin-poin yang dijual selama dia berkampanye untuk menjadi wali kota New York City. Kemenangan Zohran sendiri ini, saya pikir, Bang Imus pikir ini bisa kita ambil pelajaran ya, bahwa kadang kita butuh sosok kayak Zohran untuk buat ngingetin kalau keberanian itu gak selalu lahir dari kekuasaan, tapi dari hati yang yakin sama kebenaran. Kalau Anda suka dengan konten Bang Imus untuk episode kali ini, yang baru gabung di channelnya Bang Imus Channel. Jangan lupa dong untuk subscribe, like, dan share. Sampai jumpa di video Bang Imus selanjutnya, masih di Bang Imus Channel. Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Peace out. Ciao.